Sit back and relax. It's time to have your ears tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford. What's up, WPA? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here with another edition of From the Front Row. And got my Tokyo Ghoul swag on. We're going to get the night off started with some game changer news. Or as I like to call it right now, the game changer marathon that's going on. As the Beast first took on the Emperor 2K and Nama Liam in a stretch of a match, folks. I mean, it was somewhat long. And if that wasn't bad enough, his next match was even longer. It's like the matches just get longer and longer and longer. He next took on the Messiah. Had a pretty fair, decent match until he was able to finally hit the Beast Bomb and defeat the Messiah in another marathon match. And this last one he's taking on right now, no different, folks. It's like he can't just beat his opponent. The match is long. It's longer than a Jermaine Walker promo, folks. And it's going on still. It's going to continue next week. It may continue into full gear, folks. That's how long this is. Jeez. Somebody make it stop. But into the singles actions, we got Luscious Lucius taking on El Hijo de COVID. And folks, you were able to go to the snack bar 2 to 3 times waiting for these two to get into the ring. It's reported that Luscious Lucius was backstage looking for someone to make him a freaking sandwich. Why he's wanting a sandwich, I don't know if he wanted a vegan sandwich, if he wanted some alfalfa sprout. What kind of sandwich did he want, folks? Nobody knows. Peanut butter jelly? A Dagwood? If you know, you know. But he couldn't find it, folks. Finally, he made his way to the ring for really no reason because his opponent wasn't even there yet. But he got in the ring, told the ref to start counting. Ring the bell, start counting. He had sandwiches to go find. And, folks, he picked up the win via no show. The heel. I don't know if he was quarantined or what, but yeah. Now, our next match saw Lady Assassin taking on Supreme Knight. And, folks, after suffering the disappointment of not only being the first lady of WPA, besides Luscious Lucius, but being the queen, officially the queen of WPA, she was able to pick up a win and get back on track by defeating Supreme Knight, who, for the love of God, sir, would you please cash in your money in the bank contract? Time's ticking, sir. Time's ticking. You only got a little window to cash that sucker in. I mean, me personally, he could have probably already won the championship. Judging by his performances lately, he could have probably already been champion. Just saying. Now, our third match featured the Wraith taking on Switchblade. And folks, I was impressed. Switchblade was able to defeat the Wraith, who loves to fight, folks. Doesn't care about championships. Doesn't care about number one contender. He just likes to fight. But he had no fight in him left after Switchblade was able to pick up the win. Now, the Messiah is taking on Captain Chaos of OVE. Is OVE even still there, folks? I mean, they've been attacked a couple of times. Like, somebody's treat them like they're the little bitches and stuff. You know, it's like they really don't care about OVE. And neither did the Messiah, as he christened Captain Chaos with a nice big fat L to add to his record. Now, our next match saw Shepherd Bane taking on Michael Oliver, Nathaniel Everett Young. And God, I hate saying that name. It's so long. But there's two monies. And I gotta distinguish which one I'm talking about. Luckily, one of them's just initials. But he added a new initial to his to his name because he got an L tonight from Shepherd Bane, defeating him. I don't know what's up with Money. He claims, he was such a premier athlete, and lately he's been like a Coors Light, just piss water, pissing away his opportunities here to crawl up the rankings. Well, our next match saw Texas Hate You taking on Casper 2779 of the Killer Goons, who's usually a formidable opponent. I gotta stop using big words. But Texas Hate You was able to defeat him and pick up the win. Now, this next match, folks, is the match that got the crowd quiet, as we had the essential Jayla Masters taking on Martel the Carpenter. And you folks, you've heard me say it on the show plenty of times. Jayla Masters is one of the toughest individuals to face one-on-one. But he got dominated by Martel Carpenter, folks. Hold on, I need a drink for that one. Yeah, the crowd was in shock. It was like the Masters had no answer for Martel the Carpenter. Devastating. And this is coming from a guy that said there's no competition here. Now, I don't know if he had his mind somewhere else, if maybe he was thinking about Big Mel. Maybe he's thinking about the time they had the dildo match. I don't know, folks. He wasn't all there. And Martel took advantage of that and picked up the win, handing Jayla Masters another L on his record. Now, the second match that was kind of interesting for everybody was the Queen, Starlin J, taking on the Intercontinental Champion, the Thai Villain. Now, after winning Queen of WPA, she started calling him out, saying she could beat him, saying that she would wait till after he had his match with the number one contender. She would allow that to happen. And folks, she beat the Thai Villain. She said she was going to do it. She did it. Boom. All hail the Queen. I see well, she already has an IC match in tow, so luckily that wasn't for it. Oh my God, I feel sorry for the next person she faces then. Woo. Better keep your eye on her. Now, our next match saw the Brasso taking on a very despondent-looking Johnny Rocco. Folks, I don't know what was up with Johnny. He seemed kind of, one minute he was in the match, then he wasn't in the match, then he was out of the match, then he didn't want to be there, folks. And it caused him to lose, as the Brasso was able to avenge a previous loss to Johnny Rocco and picked up a win. And it still was a close match. That's the thing about it. As much as Johnny looked like he was distracted, Brasso just squeaked out the win. Barely. But a win's a win, right? Now, in our next match, we had Emperor 2K Anomaly taking on Kwani Fist, who seems to think he's a tough guy. But he lost to the Emperor, 2K Anomaly, folks. One sec. I said this once before. How are you going to lose to somebody named Kwani? fist. Well, Emperor showed you he's a beatable person. Now, in our next match, we had the other half of the tag team champs, the Professor, taking on Needles Kane, folks, and it was actually a pretty good match. Very close, but Needles Kane was able to pull out the win and defeat the Professor. Huh. Oh, it's kind of weird that both members of the tag team lost. Well, we can all assume that means they're going to probably win next time it comes up for a tag team match. Off night. Now, in our next match, we had Money, MF and Mike taking on Bobby Blaze, who, if you've been watching, just went through a roast and then got threatened at the end. Check it out on his YouTube channel. And that must have affected him because Money MF and Mike was able to defeat him. Now, Money Mike, there's been a lot of talk about him, especially losing to Big Mel. I mean, this guy was 4-0 in the reset era. So it stands the chance you think, he'd be really hard to beat. And yeah, he lost that match, but then he picked this match against Bobby Blaze, who's a very formidable opponent actually himself. Former world champ. The first world champ of WPA. Now our next match had Jermaine Walker taking on Johnathan, who was late to the ring. I don't know if it was traffic issues. Maybe he was trying to help Luscious Lucius find a sandwich, somebody to make a sandwich for him. I don't know, folks. But he finally did show up, and it's like he wasn't even there because Jermaine Walker dispatched him pretty easy, hitting the sexy driver. 1, 2, 3. Gone. Picking up a win, picking up momentum, heading towards Full Gear, folks, as Jermaine Walker and Big Mel will be facing each other at Full Gear. And what could only probably be deemed an Iron Man match with a stipulation. Yeah, I'll tell you about that next week once it's finalized. But speaking of Big Mel, he was taking on the Beast, David Smith, in his attempt to finally claim that he's beaten every member of Sinister, forgetting that he's also lost 2 members of Sinister. But he couldn't beat the Beast. As a matter of fact, they fought to a draw. It seems to be Big Mel's MO. Ty maybe pick up the win the second time he faces him. Who knows, folks? I mean, it took him, 3 tries, I guess, to get the world championship. One of the tries wasn't even an earn. It was more like a pity. Oh, let's have a match. Yeah, I don't like ties either. Oh, so you can stop bitching. Who knows, folks? But he's the world champ. And he couldn't beat the Beast. So you're not a Sinister killer, sir. Now, I will tell you, I do know for a fact, let's see, outside of Jayla Masters and Money Mike, there is a member of Sinister that has beaten most of the Killer Goons. I'm pretty sure you don't like history, so I won't dive into that. Now, in Triple Threat Championship action, we had the champion Delirious taking on Robert Isaiah Salea and Pierre Saint Damien, both former champs in their own rights. But Delirious was able to come through and retain his title by pinning Pierre Saint Damien. Those guys haven't been the same since they lost their title. That Triple Threat title. Whew. Man. Oh well. Now, our next match was a TV title championship featuring 2 guys who know each other very well, folks. As we had the Darkstalker challenging Lucha Libre for his television title, folks. And if you have ever watched these 2 go at it, There is a lot of bad blood between the two, mostly stemming from tag team turmoil. Maybe a little bit before that, but yeah, mostly tag team turmoil. Because as you know, uh, the Darkstalker left Lucha Libre when he was the enforcer, left him high and dry, and kind of denied him an opportunity to go for a world title shot. Um, and if that's not bad enough, he earned a TV title shot and defeated Lucha Libre to become the new WPA television champion. Folks, after the reset, this guy was 1-4. He had a couple wins after the reset, and he just picked up the TV. One of them being the match to get into the match. And he just took your title. Lucha Libre, what are you doing, man? Wow. Hold on a second. I don't know if you drink Lucha, but I'm going to drink one for you. I wish I had some tequila for you, but dang. But that's all I have, folks. As always, Philip is coming up. And this week he has 2 picks. Speaking of which, Philip's top 10 seemed to cause a lot of stir, didn't it? You guys, folks, got to remember, there's only one official thing that ever comes out of our mouths, and that's the results. We don't make those up. Everything else is just an opinion. But hey, do with it what you want. But stay froggy, folks. I'm out of here. I'm going to turn it over to Philip. As always, have a safe weekend. Remember to hug your loved ones. Give that friend of yours a phone call. And I'll be seeing you again. As we always, forever, and a day will come from the front row, folks. Deuces. Good evening, WPA. It is I, Philip Alexander Johnathan IV. And this week I bring to you not one, but 2 impressive feats of performance here in WPA. As impressive as this fine drink in my glass. Before I do that, though, let's address the elephant in the room, that is the ego of those in WPA who seem to be crying because they weren't in my top 10. Now, see, it shows me how much you actually pay attention to this show. As I informed you that I would be making a top 10 list of my own to counter that subpar top 10 WPA puts out. So, ugh. Now, that was my opinion of what I thought of you. Some people made a list that weren't on my picks. They were new. Others were left in the dust because you just weren't impressing me that last month. Now, this month I will make another one. And I will keep making another one and another one as I see fit. After all, my top 10 list is the creme de la creme of top 10s. It is of the finest pedigree. Jeffrey, make me an appointment, please. Thank you very much. Now, this week, we have two picks that I have because I couldn't decide between the two which one was the more phenomenal. But 2 weeks, two performers. Sounds fair. Yes, it does. And if it doesn't sound fair to you, oh well. You can go and visit a pub and get lost in a bottle somewhere. Wankers. Now, the first person that I found perfected the art of domination was Martel the Carpenter, handily defeating one essential jailer masters. It's like winning is a lost art on you, sir. But Martel dominated him. It was with his offense that the masters had no answer for. Quite impressive, actually. And I've heard about this Martel the Carpenter. I heard that he's not even mid. But every once in a while he puts upon a performance that draws my attention. So, that's pick one. Pick two. Yes, indeed. All hail the number one person on my top 10 list. The queen herself, Starlin J. And you may be saying, well, you already picked her once. Well, I'm picking her again. Because not only did the queen call out the riffraff of the Thai villain and tell him that she would defeat him if they ever met one-on-one, but she did it. Ladies and gentlemen, there are few people that can say they're going to beat you and then go out and do it. That in itself is a worthy feat. She commanded the ring and maintained control over her opponent. And it was just extraordinary. Between her ring presence and her veteran-like skills, I had no choice but to make her one of my picks for this week. Now, and as we go into a new week, you get into new picks. And if you want to make my list, it's very simple. Impress me. Many of you won't. But that is all I have for now. I wish you a very safe weekend. Good day. I said good day.